CBS News Bay Area Afternoon Edition with Ann Mekovic.
Thanks for being with us this Wednesday afternoon. The race to be California's next governor is taking some interesting turns, with a new candidate throwing his name into an already crowded race.
We need to get back to basics, and that means making corporations.
That is billionaire Tom Steyer announcing he's joining the race. He's running as a Democrat. He says he would focus on housing and affordability. Steyer previously ran for president in 2020. Now, there's also speculation that East Bay Congressman Eric Swalwell is getting ready to enter the race as well. Politico reporting that he briefly had a fundraising page up before taking it down on Sunday. Swalwell is also scheduled to appear on Jimmy Kimmel Live tomorrow, where he could announce his campaign. Well, stay tuned for that. He and Steyer joining an already crowded field, including on the Democratic side, former Representative Katie Porter, former State Attorney General Javier Becerra, and former LA Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa. On the Republican side, there is Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco and businessman Steve Hilton. A recent Berkeley IGS poll has Chad Bianco, a Republican, leading the race, followed by Katie Porter, Javier Becerra, and Steve Hilton. The survey happened at the end of October after Porter faced criticism for threatening to leave an interview with CBS News reporter Julie Watts. We have extended interviews with each of the candidates who had previously announced their run for the seat. You can check that out on our website, kpix.com. Developing news right now, our chopper over a nasty crash. This is in San Bruno. A car smashed into the front of a building on El Camino Real. That happened at around 11:15. Our assignment desk just spoke with some people at the business there who say nobody inside was injured. We are still waiting for a response from police on the condition of the driver. Update now to a story we first brought you over the weekend. A 19-year-old UC Berkeley student who was sent to the hospital after nearly drowning at an off-campus fraternity party has now died. Berkeley police say that he was found unresponsive in the pool during a large party at the Alpha Delta Phi house on Friday, and we're told more than 300 people were at that party on Prospect Street. The Alameda County District Attorney is now reviewing any possible charges in a separate case over the fraternity allegedly supplying alcohol to minors. Oakland Unified School District looking to fix an extreme budget deficit. They need to cut $100 million from next year's budget. Yeah, $100 million. The district just got out of a 20-year receivership with the state. And to prevent having to go back, they have to make some serious cuts. One option to save money could include slashing staff, while other options could protect those roles. The final vote is set for December 10th.
The motion fails with 2 noes and 2 ayes.
Okay. That was the result after a heated debate, an effort to expand surveillance cameras in Oakland. Those are the cameras that have been up for several years, and the OPD wanted to expand the program and also tap into private cameras. That measure, though, failed during last night's Public Safety Committee meeting. It was set to go in front of the board if it would have passed for final approval. But again, right now it appears to be dead in the water. The OPD says that cameras help reduce crime, but privacy advocates were speaking out. They were worried that the data could be shared with federal agencies.
This has basically completely changed how we do investigations altogether.
Red states and federal agencies are certainly seeking data to find people in our communities.
All right, California has reached a $7 million settlement with Greystar Management Services over its alleged role in a rent-fixing scheme involving RealPage's pricing software. Prosecutors say Greystar used the software to coordinate rental prices with competitors, driving up costs. Under the deal, the company has to stop using anti-competitive algorithms, stop sharing sensitive data, and cooperate with the ongoing antitrust case against RealPage. Greystar responded to the settlement, saying they're pleased that the matter is resolved and they remain focused on serving our residents and clients. All right, taking a live look outside. Time to enjoy the sun while you can because we have more rain heading our way this evening. Let's check in with meteorologist Jessica Birch.
All right, let's time this out because it's late tonight, early tomorrow morning where we're going to see more showers right around the corner. This evening, mostly dry. Unless you're out at 11, 12 o'clock. That's when we're going to start seeing some of those heavier showers sweep in from offshore. This is that cold front that's going to bring in wet conditions for us once again here in the Bay Area. Some cooler weather, and on top of that, some gusty winds too. But let's start off with the rainfall totals. We're going to zoom all the way over into places like the East Bay, for example, where anywhere from the Santa Clara Valley all the way up into the East Bay, we could see close to around a couple hundredths of an inch of rain. And all the way up into the North Bay, we're seeing similar numbers too. This isn't going to be a big washout by any means, but we are expected to see quite a bit of showers in those early morning hours, tapering off fast as we head into our afternoon tomorrow. In the meantime, though, it is a cool day for us today ahead of that cold front. And trust me when I say it's going to be a cool day again tomorrow once it pushes through. Daytime highs are sitting in the upper 50s this afternoon up in the North Bay, 60s all the way off into the East Bay and the Santa Clara Valley. San Francisco this afternoon holding on tight to upper 50s with partly cloudy skies. I'll have more on this rain coming up in just a bit. We're going to time it hour by hour. For now, back to you.
Thanks, Jess. Volunteers stepping up their efforts in the South Bay ahead of the holidays. We stopped by Sunnyvale Community Services' weekly food distribution program, where there's a great effort to make sure families reeling from recent lags in federal aid have what they need. Earlier this month, 37,000 people needed help with food, a number not seen since the COVID pandemic. The executive director tells us she expects the next few months to be even more busy.
In January, people are going to need some help with rent because they had to move their budget around when they're really very, very much in the low income bracket to be able to afford food as well as the rent.
The drive-through food distribution program runs every Wednesday from 9 in the morning until 6 at night. And every day, thousands of local families are struggling to make ends meet. Each holiday season, CBS News Bay Area teams up with local food banks to help fight food insecurity. And we kicked off our Food for Bay Area Families drive at Second Harvest Food Bank, Santa Cruz County. It's the state's first ever food bank. And Devin Feely continues our coverage and introduces us to some of the volunteers supporting their neighbors.
On a wet evening, the main parking lot of the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk turned into a lifeline. Second Harvest Food Bank, Santa Cruz County, launched an emergency response community food distribution. Most people who came through chose to remain in their cars, so we talked to the team of volunteers who kept the operation moving box by box.
My name's Lily Pheasant, and I'm out here today on behalf of the Long-Term Recovery Group of Santa Cruz County and with the California Emergency Response Corps, and just out here to help get some food out to people.
Lily says their goal was to provide food for about 1,000 people, many facing new gaps in assistance.
With the government shutdown, I think a lot of people lost out on benefits, and I know that that's been hugely impactful for so many people. I think that's super important to just fill the gaps that are missing in the federal government right now, and just make sure people have the support they need.
Volunteers say the need has been growing and community support is what keeps these distributions going.
The need has increased over 150%. You can't have a community without everyone looking out for each other.
From fresh produce to meal essentials, the team worked car to car, making sure that every driver left with what they needed. For many volunteers, showing up like this feels personal.
Community support looks like, literally putting food in people's cars so they can go home and have a good Thanksgiving meal.
Second Harvest will continue pop-up and emergency distributions throughout the season, working to make sure that no one in Santa Cruz County goes without a meal.
And if you want to support our Food for Bay Area Families initiative, you can scan the QR code on your screen right now. There, you'll be able to donate food or money or time to food banks across the Bay Area. You can go to our website, kpix.com/give. And you can join us for our holiday special. That's Christmas at 7 p.m. You can see inspiring stories behind the effort to feed families in the Bay Area and what it takes to fight food insecurity. Also going to show you the impact your donation has to keep food on the table. Still ahead here at noon and streaming on CBS News Bay Area, Congress approves a bill to force the release of the Epstein files. We're going to have the latest as it's on its way to the president's desk. A bill to force the release of the full Epstein files is expected to land on the president's desk any minute now. Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
But it's bittersweet, because of, I think, what it took for us to get to this moment.
Epstein survivor Annie Farmer told CBS Morning she's hopeful for transparency, one day after she and other victims gathered on Capitol Hill to celebrate legislation that will compel the Department of Justice to release all unclassified Epstein documents within 30 days.
I think that there's a lot of information in there about not only people
that we haven't heard before, that we
have not heard before,
yeah.
in terms of names of people that not only participated in these crimes, but the people that enabled the crimes.
The bill moved faster than expected, passing the House with all but one member voting in favor. Then almost immediately, the Senate agreed to the bill with unanimous consent.
The Senate has now passed the Epstein bill.
President Trump said this week he would sign the bill into law, but continues to accuse Democrats of trying to deflect.
And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax.
The president also ordered a new investigation into Epstein's alleged ties with prominent Democrats, which has some lawmakers concerned the DOJ could use the probe to delay the release of files.
The FBI director, the DOJ, Pam Bondi, they would be criminally liable. This is why we climbed the steep hill.
Already tens of thousands of documents have been released following subpoenas by the House Oversight Committee. In one email, Epstein claimed Trump knew about the girls, which the president has repeatedly denied.
Meantime, former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers is resigning from the board of OpenAI. The move comes after a House committee released emails he had exchanged with Jeffrey Epstein. The Harvard professor is planning to step away from public activities. Yesterday, he apologized to his students and announced his plan to continue teaching.
Some of you will have seen my statement of regret, expressing my shame with respect to what I did in communication with Mr. Epstein.
Summers previously served as former President Bill Clinton's Treasury Secretary. He was also former President Barack Obama's National Economic Council Director, as well as Harvard University's president. All right, back to our first alert weather now. Ooh, those clouds really starting to build over the city as we have another little rainstorm heading our way, and Jessica Birch has been tracking it.
Couple things with that little rainstorm that I want to get straight into. As we head into the next 24 hours, you're going to notice a big difference, especially when it comes to rainfall totals, gusty winds, and cool temperatures. But let's be honest, we're used to that. We've already been sitting in the 60s today, widespread throughout the Bay Area, with 50s all the way up into the North Bay. As we zoom into these numbers, you're going to get that good painted picture. I mean, look at anywhere from Santa Rosa all the way over into Novato. We're holding on tight to cool weather this afternoon, well below average. But the big story is this cold front that you're seeing directly below me, and that's going to bring anywhere up to around 1/10 of an inch of rain in certain microclimates like Novato, for example, and some pretty impressive numbers all the way off into the East Bay too. Nothing like last week's storm by any means, but it is worth noting that this is that next splash of showers that we're monitoring closely here in the Weather Center as we head into the overnight hours tonight. But we talked about this earlier. Let's just time this out hour by hour, because right now we're just seeing cloudy skies, even some dark clouds like you just saw a second ago. Light showers are going to start rolling in late tonight, early tomorrow morning, but I'm stopping the time just around 2 a.m. to show you this. For the most part, many of us are going to sleep through this storm unless you work overnight or if you commute overnight. Once that storm pushes through, this cold front moving its way, and watch what happens just around 5 a.m. Lingering showers still in the Bay Area, but the bulk of it is now up into the Sierra, all the way across the Sacramento Valley. We're going to continue to watch that track off into the east. You see some rotation right there as we advance the clock into Thursday evening. It starts to track its way south. That's an area of low pressure pulling its way down south, clearing us up fast as early as Friday with dry skies and kind of warmer weather. I don't really want to say warmer, but it is going to be a little bit gradually warmer day by day. For example, upper 50s tomorrow, low 60s as we head into Thursday. Sunnier skies will help us warm up a bit more Friday heading into Saturday, and that's what we're looking forward to here in the Weather Center. Now, you head all the way over into our inland spots. It's looking pretty similar. Daytime highs all hand in hand. We're sitting in the 50s and 60s today. We'll see mid 60s as we head into Friday and Saturday, and then cool weather, but at least dry weather as we head into early next week. We'll keep you updated on that rain here in the Weather Center, but for now, back to you.
All right, thank you, Jessica. The 49ers have been riding high since their big win over the weekend. And as Vern Glenn explains in today's Red and Gold report, the defense was able to do something they haven't done all season.
This is the Audi Red and Gold report.
The 49ers secondary stepped up in the win over Arizona.
The defense had just 1 interception in the first 10 games, but doubled its season total on Sunday. Corner Diamador Lenore was questionable all week, but returned a third-quarter interception 64 yards that left him gasping for air.
I didn't get to practice this week, so I was kind of tired. So it was like my first run since Wednesday. So so I was kind of gassed. But next week we'll be better.
With the Red and Gold Report, I'm Vern Glenn.
Well, 'tis the season to help those less fortunate, but we have some advice on what to look out for before you give. Well, Thanksgiving, believe it or not, just a week away, and that means the season of giving is here. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger shares what you need to know before opening up your heart and wallet.
This time of year often inspires people to give back to their communities and share what they can. Here are a few things to keep in mind before you donate. To get a tax break for charitable giving in 2025, you must itemize your deductions. But most people don't itemize because they get a bigger benefit from the standard deduction. If you take the standard deduction, you may want to save your giving for next year. Starting in 2026, standard filers can claim a new charitable deduction up to $1,000, and joint filers it's $2,000. This applies to cash gifts only that go directly to a qualifying public charity. Whether or not Uncle Sam rewards you for giving, you still want to follow a few best practices. As a rule, do not donate over the phone or give anyone your credit card or other personal information until you confirm it's legit. You can use the IRS tax-exempt organization search tool to verify an organization. And be alert for fraud. The IRS recommends avoiding charities that ask for donations by gift card or wire transfer, and warns that scammers use names that sound like well-known charities to confuse people. They may also come on strong, demanding immediate payment. So if you get the hard sell, walk away.
This Bay Area Wildlife Rescue does so much to help animals in need, but now they need some help of their own. We'll explain. Yggdrasil Urban Wildlife Rescue in San Francisco has helped 850 animals this year, and now they say they need our help to stay open. That's a record number of animals for the nonprofit, who says donations have not kept up with the need. They help wild animals like squirrels and possums. This year, 2 of their major grants ended, and they had to do some major upgrades. On top of that, the State Department of Fish and Wildlife updated regulations in August, meaning even more renovations.
It's great that they did that. It just comes at really bad timing because we just don't have the funding coming in to be able to make those kinds of adjustments right now. So that's why we've had this emergency fundraiser.
They did one recently that got them enough money to make it through the end of the year, but they are still looking for long-term solutions. All right. Thanks for joining us today for the afternoon edition.